What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Beer Toolmonger here. Tonight's topic is air tools versus power tools. Which one comes out on top? For me, air tools come out on top. Let me explain why. When I moved from automotive to trucks, I brought all my tools with me, and I had just automotive tools. So a lot of it was considered small. A lot of it was considered small. And the 1/2-inch gun was small. We had a 3/4 inch gun and a 1-inch gun for ripping off lug nuts on the trucks. And for me, I wasn't really used to that, so I would try to use my 1/2-inch gun, and I'd sit there just hammering on this lug nut for like 5 minutes until it would break loose. It would break loose, but it took a while. So I started using the 3/4 gun and the 1-inch gun, and they were all air tools. So I started swaying away from the battery tools. Now, I did use my 3/8 guns a lot for doing interior work or smaller engine work, and they work fine. You know, tearing off panels and fenders and fender skirts, they work fine. But in the Rust Belt, when there's 20 fasteners that are all but welded in with rust, the battery tool just didn't hold up as well as it did on cars. Because instead of 20 rusty bolts, I only had maybe 4 or 5 that needed to come off to take off a certain part. Well, then I started moving on to my air gun, because my air gun had, my 3/8 air gun had about 400 foot-pounds more torque. And it just, because of the consistency of air, it lasted longer, and I was able to get the job done in a little more timely fashion, which was what I was trying to do, was become efficient and work quickly but safely and make sure the job was done right. And I just wasn't able to keep up with the workload with my battery tools. Now, in the school bus company that I work for, I primarily use 3 tools all day, every day. 2 of them are battery, and 1 of them is air. And the 3 that I use primarily and almost all day long are my M12 3/8 impact, my Milwaukee 1/4 inch impact driver, and my Aircat 3/4 inch impact gun, which is my air tool. Those are the tools that I use all day, every day. Whether it being putting in new lights, repairing the 8-way system, repairing the interior of the bus with new seat panels or whatnot. Anything that has to do with the body, I use my 3/8 and my 1/4 inch impact driver. Anything that has to do with suspension, I have to use my 3/4 gun, because my 1/2-inch just can't keep up with it. Now, mostly the 3/4 gun is just meant for the lug nuts. The suspension, I am able to get away with using my 1/2-inch gun. It's powerful enough. It will work. I tried using my battery impact from Milwaukee, and it just would not handle the abuse. It would hit a certain point in impacting, and it would just sound like it was clacking away, and it wasn't really doing anything. I went to use it on my personal car to remove lug nuts and control arms, and it worked flawlessly. Had no issue. So I stick with my air tools because I have a little bit more of a reliability trust with my air tools. You know, with my battery tools, I never did trust how much torque I was putting behind it. With my air tools, for some reason, I understand and I have a better feeling for it because I believe it's more consistent. Because when you get a battery tool, the battery life wears down, and when the battery life wears down, even though they say it doesn't, for me, I feel that as the battery life wears down, so does the tool action or performance. And You know, a lot of companies pride and say that it doesn't matter if it's got 4 bars on your battery charge or 1 bar. Until that tool stops working, because the battery is completely dead, it should have the same amount of power at 1 bar as it should have at full charge. And I have found that to be not quite as accurate. It's very possible that I'm noticing that now because my tools are very old. I've had my 1/2 inch and my 3/4 or my 3/8 gun pretty much about as soon as they were introduced at Home Depot online with the fuel version. And I have to say it's been 4, maybe 5 years now. So they've had some use. They've had some heavy use. Whether it be in the shop or at home. I brought my tools home all the time to work on my stuff or friends' stuff and parents, family, whatever. They saw some heavy use, and that's one nice thing I like about air tools or battery tools is the functionality of being able to bring it away from an air component. You know, you don't have an air compressor, you're out of luck if you only have air tools. With battery tools, you can bring it to the job. And when I go on road calls, I still bring my battery tools, and I still trust them, but to do it constantly over and over, I find that air tools have worked out better for me in my situation. Would I love to get the Milwaukee 3/4 or 1 inch gun? Hell yeah. I would love to get those and try those out for a couple months or even longer, depending on how long I want to keep them if they work. Yeah, I would love to try them out. I just don't have the means for it. You know, they're very expensive. I think the 1 inch gun is almost $1,000 with a battery and charger. And the other thing too is, you know, you want to get a battery that lasts long enough to handle at least 1 truck, maybe 2. Those like the 6.0 and the 9.0 and the 12.0 batteries just, they're salty. They really are salty. I mean, they're cheaper than Snap-on and Mac, but I don't know. I think the 12.0 battery was like $250. That's how much I paid for my 1/2 inch Impact dry body. And it was just it's a lot of money to put out just to see if it works. So I've been very reluctant to try those and branch out, but I am slowly replacing some of my battery tools to try and see if it is more of a wear issue or if it's just my type of work. Is it really working out that way? But for me, as of right now, air tools have trumped out battery tools. They haven't completely taken them away from me, but the air tools seem to be a little more reliable when it comes to the heavier line work. But like I said, the battery tools still have a huge impact, especially when I'm doing any interior work of the bus, electrical, any type of drilling. I still use my 1/2 inch Milwaukee fuel drill for any type of drilling need, and it seems to hold up just fine. But really it comes down to the 3/8 and 1/2 inch impacts that just aren't doing it for me anymore, like they used to in the car world. So, but anyways, let me know what do you think? What works best for you? Is it the air tools or is it battery tools? Do you have a favorite battery tool company? Is it Milwaukee, DeWalt? I know Mac is part of DeWalt, but they do have different tools that DeWalt doesn't carry, like their ratchets. Do you like Cobalt even? Porter Cable. Who do you trust? Who do you put your hands in? And for air tools too, who do you trust the most? Do you trust Ingersoll Rand, Snap-on? Do you trust Aircat? Who do you go to for either one of your tools? What is your go-to tool company for battery or electric? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Stay tuned for more content.